ahead and talk to Raquel in Florida. Raquel, you're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you guys?
Doing well.
Doing good.
Doing well. What would you like to talk
I'm
about?
super nervous. I've been watching the show for a very long time, but my first time calling in.
Aw, no, we're
so I
big
hope
teddy
you guys are
bears.
nice.
We're good.
Okay, so I've been questioning my beliefs for a very long time. I was raised Christian, all that. I still go to church. But there's, of course, a lot of the things in the Bible that I don't agree with. There's just things that I just cannot believe, like a hell, and I don't think that stuff is anywhere moral or justified or any of that stuff. My only hesitation with completely giving up Christianity, I guess, is there are some principles that are inherently Christian that I still strongly believe in. And I almost feel like walking away from that, you know, I'm not even being true to what I do believe. If that makes any sort of sense.
Can I ask what you consider to be some of these principles that are inherently Christian?
Okay, yeah. So one of the biggest ones is like sex before marriage. I mean, no sex before marriage. I do think that leads to a healthier home and a healthier marriage. I don't know if that's just because of years of indoctrination, but even if I stepped away from Christianity, I feel like that's still something that I really believe in. Just because I think sex is a very intimate thing and it should be shared with somebody that. I'm sorry?
Oh, no, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying sure. I think it is very intimate. Would you agree with me that there's good sex and there's bad sex?
Yeah, but probably not in the way that you're describing it. I think there's good sexual experiences and bad sexual experiences, if that's what you mean.
I think that's a great way of saying it.
Yeah.
I think that people can be sexually incompatible. And
right.
I definitely think that I would want to know that before getting married to them.
See, but I don't have that belief. I don't think that. I think that, you know, when you love somebody enough to marry them, then the sex is something that is almost like a smaller issue compared to everything else that matters. And that's just, go ahead.
No worries. I keep wanting to jump in, but one of the hosts of Secular Sexuality is sitting right next to me. I'm sure has plenty to say.
Well, I'm actually fascinated by this topic. First, I want to get out of the way a couple things. First, you can leave Christianity and still not want to have sex before you get married. That is not something that should be keeping you to a faith. That could easily be a personal preference, and if that's what you want to do, then that is your choice. It's your body. You get to do that, and nobody gets to make you feel bad for that. There are also people who put more or less emphasis on sex in their lives. There are people who are extremely sexually just driven and enjoy sex a lot and consider it to be a very big part of their lives. And there are other people for whom it's not as big a deal, and they'll do it because they love their partner, but it's not something they do necessarily to get personal fulfillment from. And again, both of those options are valid. The only problem that I would have is if one person A, who maybe doesn't feel the need to have sex all the time, considers that to be a inherently more moral decision and attempts to put that onto somebody else who maybe doesn't experience sex in the same way. So as long as you are saying, hey, this is what I want to do with my body and this is a standard that I'm going to keep for my partners, or partner in your case, then that is 100% valid, and I say you should go for it, and it shouldn't be something that keeps you tied to Christianity. That could just be something you've learned that you enjoy, that you appreciate, and you can take it.
Right.
That said, the one thing I do have a kind of a little red flag going up is when you're defending this viewpoint to us, as you're talking about sex before marriage, you're using the term I think, right? I think that it increases marital happiness. I think that it is inherently a better option. And I'm curious where you're getting this information from. Is this something that you've just observed in your life? Is this something you've done research on?
So no, I haven't done research on, which I probably should. I mean, it's just what I've observed from my own personal experiences and the experiences of people who I've been around who are also Christian. And that could also definitely just be a bias, which I'm willing to acknowledge as well. And so just a couple of things. One thing that you said before, that if it's something that I want to do, then it's not something that I should necessarily put on to everyone else. Like, it's okay for me to live that life if I want to. So my only issue with that is I do believe that it's something better for everyone to do. And it's not only just sex, it's other principles in the Bible that I think are inherently Christian that I do believe in. And I just feel like a lot of the atheists that at least I've met and I'm around don't share those same views. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, I guess I have to keep sticking around the Christians, even though I don't really believe in their God. I think my values are the same or along the same line.
Well, I mean, you can be chaste and not be Christian. There are plenty of religions that have chastity. So, like V said, that doesn't necessarily apply. I understand. I absolutely agree that the way you choose to do those things for you are the way you want to do them. And I hope that, you know, a partner that you find has those same values and it's good. In my experience, I've had long-term relationships for, you know, my longest was 9.5 years. And in those long-term relationships, 2 years down the line, inevitably there's a conversation. Hey, well, I actually kind of would be really interested in doing this in the bedroom, you know, whatever it is. And then that's the kind of compatibility that I'm talking about. You know, some people like to be spanked, other people don't. And if you're not interested in being the spankee or the spanker, that might be a problem. And I want you to live the most fulfilling and have the most fulfilling sex life as possible. Do you think that masturbation is okay?
Do I think it's okay? No. But again, I think the issue...
Oh, Raquel, orgasms are wonderful. They are the most amazing thing. I highly suggest it. Please.
But see, that's the thing, and this is going to sound so hypocritical, but I do masturbate. But I do.
Good. Good. I'm so glad. You should. That's the tagline of Secular Sexual. Go give yourself an orgasm, or better yet, give someone else one. I don't think there's a problem with giving each other orgasms. I don't think that there's anything lost, and I think that there's a piece that you did not say, but I think is important to say because we're bringing up this topic, and the topic is, what is the value of a woman? Because in what I was taught was that sex and sexual contact devalued the woman involved. Right? And specifically the woman. You know, when we're talking about gender, it's the woman who is lesser because of the sexual contact. And my worry is I would hate for you to have that viewpoint moving forward because it is a very toxic view to hold.
Oh, no, I do. I'm honest. I'm just being honest. I do. I do think that which I have, that if I have sex before marriage in a relationship, I'm devaluing myself. So you know what? Okay, so, we've been talking about sex a lot, but sex is just one point of many values that I hold that, I don't know if, so I don't really know if you guys if you guys were Christians before or not.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, so did you guys have to go through this period of, like, letting go of things that you... Okay, so one thing that I've heard Matt say on, I think it's the Atheist Experience, he talked about how you don't really choose your beliefs, you become convinced of something. And, for me, I just feel like a lot of those values that I hold, it's almost like I can't even choose not to believe them. I see it, I believe it, it's a strong value that I have for my life. Would it just take me sitting down and going through each thing and trying to figure out what makes sense, what doesn't?
May I still am dealing with the repercussions of indoctrination. They still pop up in my life.
Yeah.
I'm an atheist, and the impact of the way that my Christian upbringing shaped my worldviews didn't go away when I left Christianity, because there's a whole package there.
Yeah.
And so please don't think that you have to, throw away everything just because it's in the Bible, right? Killing is still bad, whether it's in the book or not. You can point at killing being bad in the Bible and, hey, you know what? I can agree with that, right? You can take things that work for you, absolutely. I would love to move into other topics, but unfortunately with the style of this show, the nature of the show, we've got to try and keep it down to one thing-ish at a time, maybe two. That way we can, have a conversation and move on to the next caller. The sex topic was really fun. Just, Raquel, if no one has told you this today, your value is not changing, and it's not changing today, and it's not changing tomorrow. You have value. And there's nothing someone can do to you to take that away from you. And that is so important. You are a valuable
I
person.
appreciate that.
Nothing,
Thank you.
especially someone touching your naughty bits, is going to make that or make you somehow lesser. In fact, my personal suggestion is go and explore and learn, because when you do get married, you'd be that much more experienced as a sexual partner for that person that you marry. You'd have that much more to draw from and that much more to offer. It's pretty nice. We live in a world where you can choose, where you don't have to get pregnant because you had sex. That we have options now. We should avail ourselves of those. Now, I'm not saying that is necessarily going to be your choice. It's just a suggestion. But I hope you think about it.
I will. Thank you guys so much. You were really nice. Nicer than I expected.
Well, hey, Raquel, I also want to let you know that we have a whole show about sex and all of these kinds of questions that we do on Thursday nights at 7 Central. That would be 8 p.m. for you if you're in Florida. So if you want to call in, I'm on that show with my co-host, Christy, who is a sex therapist. And we'd be happy to continue talking about this with you.
All right. That sounds good. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Really, if you call, I will be waiting for Secular Sexuality so that I can listen to that call.
Yeah, this is a good conversation.
Definitely.
I agree. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Right.
Take care.
Plugging things.
Hey, well,
Speaking
you know
of
what?
sex.
It feels good. Yeah. Anyway.
You just got it.
No, we're good. We're good.
I did also just want to point one more thing out, and this is something that is maybe a little bit more on the dry end and less, touchy-feely. But the concept of something being inherently Christian to me just blows my mind. The idea of abstinence, the idea that sex is wrong, the idea that you should be ashamed of your body and masturbation and orgasms are bad, is not inherently Christian. It's inherently Stoic. It comes from Stoics in ancient Greece. And in order to better market Christianity, they incorporated a lot of Stoic beliefs because that was the popular belief system and philosophy of the time. St. Augustine used to be a Stoic, and then he converted to Christianity and brought a lot of those beliefs with him, and that is where we as Christians or former Christians get those concepts of these things being inherently bad. So it's not actually inherently Christian to believe that at all. It's just you need to go down the line far enough and see how the religion has evolved and aberrated over time.
Yeah. That was a very good lesson. Absolutely. I love that.